channel, Good Morning Vlogsters. Grab your coffee. I feel like poo-poo, but I'm gonna sing anyway. Everything's gonna be a song. Because why not? There is no Miralax in this coffee. Because those issues have not resolved. I finally did eat something. It is 12 o'clock. It is 1 o'clock. And I just finished breakfast. Because, you know, your first meal of the day is always breakfast. No matter what time you have it. Because it means breakfast. Guys, I was just looking at the new comments from the live stream. And actually, what I was doing was watching back the live stream. So normally when I make a video, I try. It's not always possible because of time. But I try to play it back to see if there was any, like, was I supposed to insert a picture? Did I say something wrong? Did I forget, like, a story in the middle? And sometimes if you, like, look and I'll edit, like, if somebody walks in and then I'll forget where I was, I'll put the rest of the story in the bottom. Or I'll say I'll talk about it another time or whatever. So I was just watching it back, and there was a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. First thing is, thank you for whoever likes my ring. It does not fall off because I have really bad arthritis in this top knuckle. I mean, I have really bad arthritis everywhere, but this top knuckle is like super swollen. I'm sure, I'm 99.9% sure this is my glove hand when you play softball. Like my right hand is way more, like the joints are way more swollen because this hand I use a lot. This is my bowling hand. This is my throwing hand. This is my writing hand. This is my painting hand. This is my hairbrush hand and all the things. But no, it does not come off because my, it actually took a minute of wiggle to get it over my knuckle. So now it's not going to come off unless I have to get it off. That's the one thing. And I got them on Amazon. They were like 11 rings or something. Ridiculous amount of rings for like $6.99 or something. And I have a whole bunch still because I got them to, like, everybody wants to wear an extra ring if they want. There's some of them are knuckle rings where specifically go like over your knuckle. There's like this couple of snake ones. And if you want, I could link it in the description box down below. I'm going to try to remember to do that. If you're interested in seeing them. They're really cute. I just got them to, like, so Christmas is coming. I wore this one. I can throw a couple of cute ones in everybody's stocking. So I'm starting to, like, slowly build up what I'm getting everybody for Christmas. I'm starting to buy some things. Couple of things. The other thing was, when I was talking about how stage 4 cancer works, I used the word benign instead of malignant. And that was literally like a brain fart. Because if you notice, before I said benign, I was thinking, and I just thought wrong. The malignancy is basically when cancer can spread, it's malignant. When it's benign, it's just contained. So I'm sorry I misspoke that word. For those of you who come here to, like, learn stuff. Just to correct that. And the other thing, somebody also mentioned it in the comments, so thank you for bringing it to my attention. I have posted a correction in the description box, but of course that's a live stream. So when I go back and watch a video and then I edit, like if I make a mistake or if I misspeak, I put like an asterisk in what I meant to say. I can't do that on a live stream. So once you misspeak on a live stream, it's there forever. The other thing somebody asked me about, the other thing I put in the comment section was, I couldn't remember the big Dollar Tree in Texas that we go to. And it is on the corner of Highway 6 and Bisonnet, Bissonet. I laugh because my digital assistant on my phone, who's got an Australian male accent, he says it wrong. And when we went the first time to try to find, I was with Lisa's daughter, and she was laughing at how he was saying it. So now it's like stuck in my head to say it wrong. So I'm trying to say it right, but of course I just want to say it wrong. But yeah, there are so many great Dollar Trees. I mean, every city has more has better, more easier access than the rural areas, obviously. First of all, more people by volume are coming to this one Dollar Tree because there are so few and far between. I think I mentioned this before. When I lived on Long Island, you within 30 minutes, you had like 8 of them within a 30-minute perimeter. Not even 30 minutes. Less than that. I'd say less than that. 15 minutes. Because there was the one in Carl Place, then there was the one in Carl Place on the other side of Roosevelt Field, and of course then there was the one on still down on Old Country Road. There's just like so many in this small area, and you could pick and choose. I mean, if you went further down, if you went all the way down like Nassau Boulevard and you went to Hempstead Turnpike, then there's like a million of them there. But when you have the option of having so many together, you end up having more of a variety, because you know how one store can get like 8 of the unicorn items. Well, you know, every store gets 8 of the unicorn items, and in an area that could be 100 unicorn items that people are looking for. And they're not about unicorns. Unicorn, as you guys know, is what we call the hard to find items, like the most desirable people looking for type items. So a perfect example is even when Sharon in Florida took me to a Dollar Tree. What was the special occasion? I feel like something fun happened, and anyway, she took me to the Dollar Tree by her, and she had tons of stuff we couldn't find here, or maybe like they were here the first day they put out and then never again. And that's cool. I mean, she doesn't even live in a huge city. She lives in a city, but not what they would consider a major metropolis, you know? I don't think I did my nose spray this morning, and I think that's why I'm coughing. So forgive me. Sorry, that nose spray tastes awful. Some days I forget to edit. Some days I forget to edit. The Walmart haul, for example. Jimmy didn't mean to hurt my ear, and I reacted out of pain, but it didn't look like I was being nice to him. But really, he hurt me. Like, it hurt. And I, you know, like when somebody hurts you, like I almost punched him in the head. And then I got to the point where I was like,
Jim, here is your reminder from Jeri-Ann.
I was getting annoyed because I asked him if he wanted to be in the hall, and he said no. And then he was like all over me, and I was like, once he hurt me, I was like, okay, now you're not even paying attention. You're just trying to like be like a little kid with ADHD all over me kind of thing. Which normally it's fine. It's just some days like then I hurt, or if I'm sick, or if I have no patience, then it's like out the window. But I'm a human. I'm allowed to have no patience once in a while. I mean, but I did really appreciate everything he said about me during his live stream. How he finally recognizes, not finally, I shouldn't say that. He has finally said to me, or in front of me, how he recognizes all that we've gone through. And I say we, but he said me, but really he was there for a lot of it. And it was, I'm gonna cry a little bit, I think. It was nice to hear. You know, you think, I know he's here, but sometimes he feels totally checked out, which I don't blame him. It's not a complaint. I'm just making an observation. Sometimes he feels totally checked out because it's a lot. It's overwhelming. I'm not going to lie. So it's nice to hear that he recognizes it, you know. It's made me feel very good. I had a huge cry last night because I had many more episodes of being incontinent of my bowels. And I know you guys don't like me to talk about this sometimes, but Jimmy had suggested, because it was so frequent, that he bring the commode back in. And of course, that was something that I did not want to have happen. I just cried. I was like, no. And he's like, well, he said, it's better than having to clean up every time I try to go to the bathroom. And I appreciate that, but it still feels like a step back. It's a lot. I also put a chuck on my bed. That's a lot. It's a lot to graduate into independence and then be sidelined again. I'm trying not to cry because it's really going to start again, so I'm going to stop. Okay. So, I know it's temporary, but in fact, we didn't even put the back bar back on it. It's just until this stomach thing is done. I wish I knew or had an answer or knew the right thing, or I wish I could figure out what was going on. I wish I could just run to the doctor each and every time I have a symptom. But obviously that's not reality. I mean, when you're in a hospital setting and you have 24-hour care, every time there's a symptom, you can report it and they watch out for it, or they treat the symptom. But, when you're home, it's like, well, when is it become so bad that I need to tell the doctor? So I did talk it over with my bestie because I originally was concerned. One of the questions the doctor asked me about before he lifted the restrictions of the brace was I incontinent of my bowels or incontinent of my urine? And I said no. I said, well, I'm 52 and sometimes I can't get to the bathroom fast enough, but nothing like has been happening the last 2 days. And when I told him that, I was like, no, and never my bowels, So he said, okay. So it's a concern when you're, if you have an intrusion in your spinal cord, it can affect your digestive system, especially in that area. So, Lisa was like, she's like, well, don't worry about it. You're worrying about it, just it's gonna, pay attention or whatever, but don't worry about it. And she's like, it happens to everybody at our age. And I said, I understand. I said, it just now that it's a thing. She's like, well, you just got a clear bill of health. And I was like, yeah, but then I started bending over. So I reached out to my doctor. I didn't talk about the being incontinent because there is a stomach bug going around. The only thing is I don't have any stomach discomfort. I don't even have like gas pains, but all of a sudden I'll feel like I have to fart and it's not a fart, or I don't even trust the fart. Like my niece came up with an acronym and I can't remember it, but my sister will probably come up with it, like anti-AF, never trust a fart. I don't know. It's something like that, but it couldn't be that because it spelled a word. So anyway, sorry, it's become a very graphically discussed. But again, we talked in the live stream that this has to be normal. People have these problems and people go through these issues, and you have to talk about them, or else we can't fix them, and everybody's going to be embarrassed to talk about them. And I'm not like showing you pictures or anything, so it's not like, But anyhow, I can't remember what I was just talking about that. Never trust a fart. There's something I was going somewhere. Oh, so I messaged my doctor this morning. I actually called my doctor, and apparently I had the wrong phone number. His nurse, who's his his assistant is a nurse. Both of the surgeons, actually, they're assistants and nurses. She called me from a number one day, and I called her back on that number, and that wasn't the number to call back from. So she gave me her number, and I tried to call the number that I had, and it was the wrong one. So I ended up going on the message board, and I basically put a pretty detailed message where I said that I would like to get clarification on what I can lift because, again, I had conflicting reports. And I want to get clarification on any restrictions. And I also would like a recommendation for physical therapy or occupational therapy. And she came back to me and she said 15 pounds, which is kind of weird because I thought they said 10 and then 20. And then she comes back with the message and says 15 pounds. And I had Jim read it. As soon as I received it, I had Jim read it too because I was like, I just want you to see it in print. Here it is. It's like, not what he said the first time, what he said the second time. This is what it is. It's in print. She said, but as far as the other restrictions were concerned, she wanted to find out from the doctor. He was in surgery today. Before she puts in an order for physical therapy. So basically if I have other restrictions, like, I also asked how long, because originally he was going to give me an LSO brace for long distance things or very active situations, long distance walking or very active situations. So I said, do I have any like walking restrictions? And she was like, listen to your body. That's what all the doctors say. The armchair doctors on the internet say something totally different. They just say, push yourself, push yourself, push yourself, push yourself. But the doctors are like, don't push yourself. But anyhow, she said, listen to your body. She's like, do what you can tolerate within reason, like that kind of thing. And she's like, and try to increase your activity, add a little bit every day or week or so, depending on how your body is feeling. So I said, okay. So she's going to get back to me after she talks to the doctor about about getting physical therapy. I could go to a physical therapy place now. I don't need to actually have them come to my house. But I don't know what she'll order, so we'll see. With that being said, I realized like I started to just bend like I used to and sit like I used to and get up like I used to. And I'm like, maybe that's not right though. Like I was rolling over, like even without my brace, they taught me to roll in bed and sit up like on my elbow and then on my on my hand, so that I would sit up like full stiff torso is like I can twist and I can bend within limits. So how is getting up off the bed? Is that different now? So just stuff like that. Like I really need someone's expert opinion. I need them to get a doctor's order and to translate it into show me what to do or show me what to do. Or tell me what to do and show me what to do. And then I was concerned about like this digestive system issue. Then I was like, well, I started doing other exercises that the physical therapist had crossed off because of my back precautions. And I started doing them and I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that. That's why I requested physical therapy. So basically it's sort of like the bridge, where you like put the ball under your tushy and, or under your legs and you roll them from like your knees and then you roll it towards your back just to get like your back arched and stuff. And I don't know that I'm supposed to be doing all of that. So I stopped. But I was thinking like, go for it, go for the dancing. Just go. Because who's going to stop you? And then I realized your body's going to stop you, Jerry. If you do something wrong, your body's going to stop you. I also wanted to clarify about the laundry in Jimmy's live stream or in my live stream. I can't remember. The laundry came up. I don't think it was my live stream. But Jim does the laundry, and I've mentioned this 1,000 times. Jim has been doing the laundry since we met. We've been splitting it. We do 50. He calls it 50-50, but honestly, he does take the lion's share, especially when we lived in New York. I mentioned this before. When we lived in New York, our washing machine was out in the utility room. So you literally have to go out of the house, around the walkway, to the laundry room to put the wash in. And then bring it in, and the dryer was in the closet. And then at the group home, we lived on, basically the upstairs and the washer and dryer were in the basement. So that was like 2 flights of stairs to do laundry. We utilized the IKEA bags and stuff like that. So it was easier. We made it as easy as possible, but like I mentioned before, it's hard for me to carry stuff while I go up the stairs because I'm so wide and the stairs to the basement are very narrow. But if it was like a small load, like I said, I could just throw it in the IKEA bag and haul it up the stairs, or a laundry bag or something, like that. Mostly he would do laundry during the day when I was working. So basically, a day he was off, I would be working in the office. So I would work from 6 to 2 every day. And from 6 to, say, 9 o'clock, it's getting the ladies up, ready for work, driving them to work. And then I would go back to the office and do reports or ordering or whatever, financials, whatever it was. And then while I was doing that, he would come down, put in the load, come and give me a kiss, go back. You know, he would ask me to listen for the washer, and I would text him like the buzzer stopped, or but he would come down and he'd switch it to the dryer or whatever. Or if it was something like all his laundry, I would like sometimes not even text him. I would just switch to the dryer. And then he'd come down like 20 minutes later and be like, what happened? And I was like, oh, I just threw in the dryer for you. I'm sorry. That's why I didn't text you. So it got to the point where he was coming down anyway. So I just let him do it. He's like, just let me do it. I'm like, all right. So he has always done the laundry. And I mentioned this previously because when he first moved to New York, he wasn't very comfortable with all the other types of house cleaning. So this is what he could do to contribute to our relationship and our home life. And this is the way it's been. I separate it, he washes it, he dries it, and then I fold it and he puts it away. So it's always been like tag team. So I could do laundry. I know how to do laundry. When he didn't live with me for 6 months in 2010, I did my own laundry. When he didn't live with me for 3 months in 2005, I did my own laundry and my father's. And honestly, I even did my father's laundry while Jim was doing our laundry. I still did my father's laundry. So, you know, that. So, I'm well versed in the laundry arts. Remember, I didn't even meet my husband till I was almost 30. Actually, till I turned 29. So for 29 years, 22 years I was doing my own laundry. I know I was doing some of it when I was 7, but I don't know how much of all of it that I was doing. Up until then, we kind of had like a house communal laundry basket. There was this barrel, an old alcohol barrel at the end of my hallway. Where all the bedrooms were down the hallway. And then at the end of the hallway was a barrel that we used for laundry. Just put your laundry in there. And somebody would put in a wet towel and you'd get silverfish, and Mom got rid of the basket. She's like, I'm done. You guys know what silverfish are? They're like, yeah, I'm sure you do. Anybody who lives by the water or in humid areas, I think they have silverfish there. Anywho, more stories about New York. The house that I grew up in only had a crawl space. And it was a crawl space. The crawl space we have here, nobody can really crawl. It's like a belly space. It's like a belly crawl space. This crawl space we had in New York, I was able to, when I was 15, I was able to be on my hands and knees. My brother and I insulated all of the pipes, the heat pipes. We basically took the insulating wrap and wrapped all, because we had baseboard radiators. So under the house was like the hot water would travel from room to room. And by the time it got to like the living room, because the utility room was outside of my parents' bedroom, and then it went to my bedroom, and then it went to my brother's bedroom, then the dining room, then the living room, and then back around to the kitchen and the bathroom. So it's like, well, by the time it got around to like the bathroom or the kitchen, or even my brother's bedroom, it was freezing, especially the living room. The living room was like this wide open space. It was freezing. And it's kind of funny. I think I've mentioned this before a long time ago, but my house was an open concept, like before open concepts were a thing. We had a standard 6/6. It was what it was called. And it was basically, you walked in on the side, you had a side hallway, went straight to the kitchen. To the right was the living room. Behind the living room was the dining room. And then down a central hall was a bathroom, a bedroom, and a bedroom, and a bedroom. With a linen closet. So standard. Like, I say that because there's like over a dozen houses like that in Island Park. And Island Park's so small, it doesn't even have a high school. They just, the contractor just built these homes. Even the ones that have like, they're elevated. We had, for example, we had one step to get, we had a stoop basically. So we had a stoop to get, it was a cement porch. It was one step to the cement porch and then one step from the porch into the house. But you go down the block and the same exact house has like 20 stairs just to get to the first floor. Because, and then where my friend Sharon, one of the houses she grew up in, she had the same house, but the front like where my cement porch was, hers was closed in. It was like basically they made a door. So you went into an entryway, and then you went to the downstairs apartment or to the upstairs apartment. So they're all over. I mean, there's got to be more than a dozen. Honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I think there's more. I think there's a dozen on my block, and my block is little. Well, not my block, but anyway. I grew up on Long Beach Road. That was my address, was Long Beach Road. However, my house was facing all the same direction as Newport Road houses. So if you look in like aerial shot, even though my address is here, my house looks like it goes on that block, like the way it's lined up. So when I say my block, I always refer to Newport Road as my block. Anyhow, yeah, so there was like, the houses were very common, and everybody had the same setup. So we went into the crawl space and we insulated the radiator pipes. Because then, you know, there's a whole thing that went upstairs, but that was heat rises, and they were getting more hot. They were sweating, and we were freezing, and just a whole mess, you know. Yeah, so when I was young, I always liked home improvement. I always liked change. One of the first shows I remember seeing was Home Time. Not This Old House. This Old House was on, but my father really didn't watch it much. I liked watching Home Time. For some reason. There's something about it. I think that it was more like they were building a home, as opposed to This Old House was like renovating old houses, which I love now, honestly. I mean, I love This Old House. I grew to love This Old House too. I'm not trying to say that. It's just not the first one that I saw. And, you know, HGTV when it first started, oh my gosh, I couldn't get enough of it. It was all these decorating shows. Then it became a lot about real estate and flipping and that kind of stuff. Because that's how times have changed. You know, times go on and people do these things. Is it going to let me record? Sorry guys, I was in the middle of talking to you and the memory cut out on the phone. I was talking to you about This Old House and Home Time and doing construction with my father. And I will probably watch this and then maybe add to the story tomorrow, because I don't know how much I missed. I want to see, I don't want to talk about everything that I talked about already. I just want to be able to, share with you the stories. And I, like I said, I don't know when it cut off. I mean, I did know when it come off. I just didn't watch the whole thing to find out what I had already talked about. So forgive me for ending a story well, it wasn't really, it was in my head. It was midstream because I finished the story, but that's it. So I need to come on and tell you that I love you. If nobody's told you that you're loved, you can always come by and hear how much I love you, because I love you very, very much. And listen, if you haven't subscribed to the videos and all the channels, I think that's what I was talking about. I was talking about live streams. I was talking about the live stream, and I was talking about social media. And I was talking about, I'm going to post questions on Instagram, which we'll share over to the Facebook business page. So if you don't have Instagram, or if you have Instagram, follow me. And if you don't have Instagram and you have Facebook, just like the Facebook business page. You'll get all the Instagram notifications there. And I'm going to post either Friday night or Saturday the Q&A portions for Sunday live streams. And I like this idea. I don't know that it'll always be at 12 o'clock for brunch. It might be earlier. I don't want to make it too early because people on the West Coast. And I don't want to make it too late because people come from like England and obviously Australia. I have people who watch from Australia. So, yeah, that's to look forward to. So when I do editing Jeri might come back on from the bed or whatever. But when I say editing Jeri. Hi, it's editing. Sorry. Hi, it's editing Jeri. I do know the part of the story that got cut off. And I will tell you more about it tomorrow. I'll vlog about it tomorrow. I did go on to talk about how I learned how to hang paneling and, molding and all that stuff from my dad. And his renovating my house and wainscoting and stuff. So I will share more of that story tomorrow. But I really just wanted to come on here to reiterate that. And the other thing is, since I shot this video, my comment section and my notifications have been flooded with the whole benign malignant situation. And the first thing I'd like to say was, again, I apologize for saying the wrong word. And I can't go and highlight it and edit it. But the other thing was, at the time, I wasn't actually speaking about my cancer. I was talking about just stage 4 cancer in general. And it really became like this whole big thing where it blew up. And the people who accused me of never being truthful just got crazy about it. And I just wanted to address it. So if you're a person who's new here and you're thinking like, why is everybody accusing her of this? Whatever. It's nothing that I can help. It's just their thing that they're doing. But I just did want to come on here and say, when I was describing when I was describing tumors and how they become stage 4, I said benign. I didn't say my tumors are benign. I said tumors are benign. And then they metastasize. And benign tumors don't normally metastasize. So that being said, I will just come on here just to say, again, I apologize for misspeaking. It did not mean anything other than I misspoke. Like, there's no other reason for it. I don't have great memory retention these days of information. So I just wanted to come on here and address that. For those of you who were asking, I appreciate your concern and thank you for asking. So that's it. So back to the ending, and I will talk to you more about the panelings starting tomorrow. Okay? Otherwise, I love you. If no one's told you today, please remember what I just said. And as always, you take care. God bless. And we'll see you next time. Bye. Meow.